Hello, this is Dr. Garrett Castleberry, and I am here with the first of our video discussion prompts. Now, we will be exercising 5 video discussions in this course, and the first of our engaged discussions, we hope, or video interactions, center on the basic concept of media consumption. And one of the things we can think about here to start it off is the simple question of how much media do we use or come into contact with in a given day. Now, there's an old adage about how much advertising the average person comes into contact with in a day or in a week as they go through their schedule, especially if they live, say, in a city where even when they are commuting or driving somewhere, they're interacting with many signs and billboards, the radio, and so on. But we want to also think about media as it relates to the digital realm as well. And as time progresses, we're seeing most media come into what media scholar or theorist Henry Jenkins calls media convergence or digital convergence of all medias. And so when I think about the media use in a typical day in my life, it starts the moment I wake up. My alarm clock is set on my cell phone, and my cell phone, of course, is essentially a computer. It has that processing power, it has internet capability. It's a smartphone, as we say. And so from the moment I wake up, I'm already engaged or plugged in, if you will. I'm probably immediately checking email, any kinds of announcements. Maybe there are texts sent after I went to bed the night before, some kinds of updates, social media updates, news headlines, and so on. And it's quite possible on some days I may turn on the television in the morning. And if that's the case, now I'm gaining some media exposure there. My personal preference is a little bit of peace and quiet time in the morning to allow my thoughts to gather. But sometimes other parties in the house, they may need a little media stimulation to help everyone get out the door in a good spirit or mood. Anyway, once I'm out the door into the car, I'm commuting with media once again. In addition to radio or perhaps even satellite radio, if you have that, many people will stream content from their phones once again. So we have multiple devices informing us. Just as I mentioned billboards and that kind of thing earlier, we now have digital billboards, and so we're coming into contact even in those natural quotation marks natural landscapes. We're coming into contact with media content in different kinds of forms. Once I'm at work, I am on the computer, booting up, checking email periodically throughout the day. I might be on D2L, updating grades, going over content. I could be right here, recording messages, finding ways in which to integrate media into our courses or curriculum. And then, of course, there are those times where, whether it's on our phone or computer or what have you, we're checking in with news headlines. Maybe someone has responded to a message on social media and so on. And so this can become a kind of patternistic habit for many of us, myself included. In any event, end of the day, head home. Well, once again, I'm in a pattern of media consumption because I might still be either listening to a form of radio or something else that's very popular. I could be streaming a podcast, either directly out of my phone or from my phone into the car, vehicle stereo. And so we see media following us along all of our daily routines as we go. Some nights I may get home and there might be time for a little television as a mode of winding down. And TV is still a pastime for many of us. It's just a matter of what some folks think of TV as a stable or static unit in a room in the house versus what other parties find it to be. For many young people, that they stream content, both kind of TV and technically not TV, from a device, from a tablet or iPad or computer, and so we come into contact with a lot of content that way. And by the end of the night, once you're trying to get the house under control, kind of bring down the noise level, many of us are probably checking those digital devices a few more times because we just can't get enough of the easily accessible content that comes from there. And although, something to be mindful of, studies do show us that all of that LED lighting that transmits from smartphones in particular is bad for your eyes at night, right? It's sort of hindering your ability to fall asleep faster and get good sleep. It's tricking your eyesight. In other words, as I bite my lip here. Anyway, so that is a peek into a day in the life of how I interact with media. It's a rather long expression of that, and what's expected of you all as students is a much shorter version. Feel free to keep it abridged, or if you've got a long story, if media plays this very large role in your life, feel free to share. But we look forward to your responses in our Media, Culture, and Social Influence video discussion series.